during the EU games and wanting to just over-defend some of those like particular spots that they know FlipSide's good at. FlipSide here, starting on defense, probably going to want to do exactly what they did in the finals. So hopefully Eanix have some idea how to play against that, how to get that Thermite in there without getting him C4'd, or just playing maybe a tunnel strategy would be interesting.
Yeah, and we see HNC playing the Bandit. My expectation is going to be on that church wall facing those back stairs. And if we remember back to the clubhouse map that was played last week, it was against Ferocity and Eanix here.
Yeah.
Ferocity was able to successfully bandit that wall almost every time, and Eanix had to work around it. Yeah. So knowing that they're going to have a bandit, they're most likely going to be bandit charging that wall, do you think we can expect to see them going for that?
Yeah, I mean, if they went up against someone like Zed that was actually pretty good at holding that bandit trick on the wall, they've got to be used to working around that. However, I'm not sure we saw a lot of good C4 throws on that sort of thing. So, I mean, if I was Eanix, I would actually push that construction tunnel, which just has been underutilized lately. So it'll be interesting to see. We do see them getting up cams and things like that, making sure they have enough coverage, especially of that kitchen, for example. They're not bringing a pulse, so when you don't have a pulse, you want a camera in the kitchen.
There is a pulse here. Pojo's got the pulse.
That's right, he's got the pulse. So plenty of coverage of that kitchen floor then.
Yep. Oh, and it looks like Easy Peasy tries to go for the peak, but
Nice
Frenchie
start.
spots him early on and uses the Capital Para to finish him off nice and easy.
Not good start for Easy.
Not a good start at all. Going out with a little bang towards the start. Pojo's down here along with Mint in the church. Not different.
Rook's someone we've seen him doing a lot more spawn peaks and things like that lately. I find it interesting. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned before, he could take a little bit of damage initially if he fails that peak, but if, like that time, he gets shot in the head, tank or not, he's dead.
Yep, yeah. So we do have some drones going in. Looks as though bar, cash room, garage has all been cleared out, and it's time for Eanix to start getting in position for their strategy here.
They definitely look like they want to take control of those stairs, have a way to push in from there. Interesting that Marathon's sledging that wall a little bit unnecessarily, but it does give them a place to push back to if they get into a fight upstairs here. Although this is a traditionally, and for good reason, a 5-man on-site defense. We almost rarely, never rather, see actual roamers on this map in terms of this bomb spot.
Yeah, and here is Frenchie trying to pretend to be Thermite, just sitting in one spot. If he sits there too long...
Yeah, why is he not dead yet? Oh, because Pojo Man's in the wrong room.
Pojo's over in church, but King George is underneath. Might hear some footsteps, and he does have the nitro cell ready to go.
This is where you ask Mint to look at the camera for you.
So Frenchie has rotated from kitchen down to the bottom of the stairs here, along with Donut and Thermite. Now Thermite's on his drone, calling out what he sees, giving some information. Now this looks like a one-way push. I don't see anyone coming from Blue Hall down the generator hall, or I don't see anyone coming from the clubhouse.
Generally a bad idea on this map, and this particular
there's Blackbeard. So Blackbeard is down the hallway there.
I think he's generally a little more effective with a partner, but getting Bandit down like that at that angle.
Great shot by Frenchie. That's his second headshot of the round here. He's like, how did you just pick him up? And it was because of the murder hole that was made for the C4.
Way to use that against them, Frenchie.
Great shot. Taking out Bandit. Wall gets opened up. Pojo's right there. Throws out the C4.
Mint's already
and
down.
Misses him. And Marathon uses the gun to pick up Pojo. So now they are moving on into church. Church has been successfully cleared.
Wow.
And Helby picks up the final two coming from the garage hall with a flawless round for Eanix. Very, very strong.
I feel like FlipSide were not warmed up for that because that just was a massacre. They couldn't even plant the bomb in time.
So we had talked about how this was FlipSide's map.
Yeah.
And what I loved seeing that there, we talked about, okay, maybe Eanix has reviewed the footage, saw what they do. I would not have expected them to open up the floor, look through the murder hole that FlipSide made intentionally, and then picked off Bandit as he's running back and forth between the wall.
So something tells me they did watch.
Yeah, something tells me they've done their research.
There's a reason we do these broadcasts after all. Wow. Well played. That's got to throw FlipSide off their game, but they are on attack, which is something that's a little bit harder to predict, a little bit more of a, you can change it up without having to change a whole lot because you can call audibles. Defense, not as easy to do that. I expect to see a little bit different strategy here from FlipSide, but like I said, they do have one new member of the team, which may be playing things a little bit differently. You have hot and cold on that Thermite. That is typically the role you give to the new guy. To say, you know what, we're going to put you on a role where you can hang back a little bit, see what the big boys do, and then come blow up a wall for us.
Yeah, Pojo is playing the Blackbeard. I expect for him to be down the garage hall just like we saw last round with Helby. So that is going to ensue here shortly because we are in the action phase. It looks as though the majority of the individuals start out on the west side spawn.
So Marathon's going to be a little bit smart of a Rook, not put his head into a bullet.
But we almost just had a team kill there. Frenchie runs in front of Marathon as he's shooting that back stairs door.
Careful, boys.
We don't want to repeat what happened earlier on
yeah,
the
with that
UPC.
Blackbeard. That was, yeah. If you guys didn't see that watching, make sure to go back and watch.
There was an instant team kill on Consulate.
Yeah, good start. But these guys not wanting to shoot each other just yet.
Oh, and we do have Frenchie trying to look, and
there
there's going to be, doesn't hear the wall get exploded, and Pojo Man is there without the shield on his gun to take down Frenchie and say, I know you picked me off last time, and I'm here to get you.
That is what I was hoping to see. Someone taking advantage of this construction tunnel because it's so underutilized right now. And the nice thing is if he really wants to, he can just rotate away from there, and they're going to be watching it the whole time.
Yep, and so the last 4 defenders are going to be on site. Pojo Man has been obviously spotted in the construction hall, utilizing his drone to figure out who's here. He knows Donut Plane Smoke is going to be in the left of the escape tunnel.
But that's it.
Left of the locker, but that does look like it's everyone that's going to be in the arsenal room.
If he can take that guy out, it's clear sailing for him from there to do a pinch.
You see him rushing up here, but it does look as though Valkyrie may have rotated over, and she is over here on B bomb site.
That's the downside of not having someone else drone for you, is now you can act on old information.
So it looks as though it's going to be a 2-2 split. Still 5-4, minute and a half left to go in the round. Stockroom drop has been opened up into the blue hallway. Wall gets opened up right behind Donut, and now Donut is kind of pinched. He does try to make a push in, but Mint has his breached gun out and doesn't actually get the shot off.
If he, maybe you should have gone for it. It does 50 damage. So worth it if you can get it off, but you might need to save it. You never know.
Yeah, and
here's
so
that hot and cold.
We do have Thermite pushing on down. He's done his job. He's opened up both breach walls, or breach drop hatches, and now it's time for him to move in. If I saw that wall on the left side, I would call it out for Ash, say, hey, move on over. We got to get that opened up, get a push into Arsenal room.
Yeah.
Easy peasy, utilizing that Master Key Skeleton Key shotgun to open up the floor by the kitchen drop hatch, and we are down to under 50 seconds.
He's smartly standing on the drop hatch, though. That's what you want to do, so you can't just get shot through the floor very easily. Not that angles don't work on you, but it's much more difficult to get a shot off on you than it is for you to get a shot off on them.
And Helby utilizing his shotgun to kill the drone and still stays here. Now, Pojo's drone is still alive over by the lockers, and it does spot Helby. So they know that there's at least one in B. Easy peasy about to poke in. Pojo Man dips on in and gets Donut with the shot. That's his second kill. Thermite's now in the hallway. Marathon goes for the peek. He does spot him. He hurts him a lot, but he doesn't get the kill, and it's going to be easy peasy following up with the shot. Helby here to pick off Pojo Man, and now it is a 4-on-2. Helby trying to play for his life. He gets one down, gets the second killed, and now it's Panda picking up the kill on easy peasy 2-on-1. Diffuser will go planted here. Panda back in the church. And it will be King George turning the corner, looking down sight, and picking off Panda.
Another round where they were mid-plant, finishing everyone off. Definitely the flip side of the previous round, as we've seen.
I'll tell you, Helby and the rest of his squad put up one heck of a fight down there.
No, they definitely did not fall easily there, especially that chaos in the armory at the end. A lot of shots going off all over the place, a lot of those boxes being used as cover. Definitely chaotic and could have gone either way in terms of the way those firefights were going, especially Rook losing his firefights. But ultimately, it is 1-1 now, with FlipSid being able to go back downstairs as they didn't win it previously.
And we might need to remake because it looks as though Frenchie's game just crashed potentially.
He is an important player, as we've seen, so unfortunately, that is going to...
It looks as though, there we go. There's my keyboard. Now it's typing correctly.
It'd be nice if they're able to reconnect, which occasionally you can do on PC, but we're going to have to go ahead and restart it.
All right, so it looks as though Frenchie is stuck in limbo, disconnected. I wonder if his internet has gone out, but you know what? We will remake the lobby. Again, it's still 1-1.
1-1.
On Clubhouse, going against the 3rd, 4th place in the world here. Eanix taking on FlipSid.
Not bad for the team that's arguably the bottom of the board in terms of seeds, 8th seed against the number 2.
Yeah, came in as 8th because they didn't get in at the top of relegations. Or, I'm sorry, they didn't get in at the top of the qualifiers.
No.
Made it into relegations, fought long and hard, finally got in.
Almost squeezed in.
Squeezed in, and they did place in the 8th seed.
You know what, though? They replaced some players. They trained hard from the looks of it.
Oh, is he here?
So, looks like we may have gotten Frenchie the reconnect. Not bad.
Frenchie got back in.
Even got an operator in time.
And he did, so lucky him. We didn't need to rehost, therefore no commercial. I miss Jason Bourne.
Oh yeah, we could use a little Jason Bourne. However, that is up to the movie company to make a sequel, of course, for next year.
To make a sequel, they're on to number 5, I believe, already.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we are here in the prep phase, and we see King George opening up that freezer doorway.
This looks familiar to the first round, as they are going to need as much cameras and things as they can. That's one of the interesting things about the Valkyrie cams outside sort of thing. You got to take a little bit of a risk on it. You got to hope you can get those cameras chucked out before they get over to the door and shoot you in the face.
Yeah, it's easier to do it on this map than some others because the attacker spawns are quite far away. They're behind some good cover, so you have a few more seconds to get those charges out or get those cameras out.
Kind of funny because it's like, you know, the maps are designed to try and not allow spawn peeks, but that works both ways.
Definitely.
So they are getting still set up, a little bit of late reinforcements. Some of the operators like Jaeger here have a lot of work to do to get their stuff going, but no one going to go on the roam really. No one want to, but Rook using the little pixel peek between that pipe, very useful for fighting someone like Blackbeard, for example, that has a lot of advantage if he's able to shoot you straight on. Him being Rook can take a lot of shots through there if they're able to manage to squeeze a few through, but if one of those happens to be on the head, it's bye-bye Rook.
Yes, it is. So HNC here on the cams playing Bandit, and now he does spot Thermite going for the shot, but it looks as though Mint has dropped, unfortunately, but we are past that 15-second mark in the attack phase, so that's going to be just as good as killing him off. And here we go. We have Thermite trying to throw some flashbangs, get rid of those ADSs from the bar drop in the motorcycle room, and here comes the actual frag grenades.
All right, well, the attack is definitely going to get underway soon here. Once they get enough holes in there, is Capito's just hanging out here, waiting for someone to
he's gotten
step
down
over
here
the
pretty
toe.
quickly, pretty quickly.
He sees those holes up there, knows some C4 could come out, land on his head. Definitely going to be prepared for that, but nading that barbed wire is going to give away his position.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be the hole above Pojo Man's head.
Oh.
But the C4 from HNC does pick up Panda and Marathon. That is a sledge and a Thermite saying bye for the night.
Well played. That C4 being very brutal on this map in a lot of ways.
And here comes Blackbeard coming down the generator hallway. Helby almost spots him. He does get picked off by Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. And Pojo Man still stuck over here in the
pixel peek we talked about earlier too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So he held it off just in time while he looked over towards the church entrance. 60 seconds left, and there's 2 attackers left alive. Frenchie's now in the hallway, main hallway, right on the other side of Bandit. Now, he's not a Thermite, so that wall will not get opened up. 50 seconds left to go. Donut moving down the blue hall, and Easy Peasy's right waiting for it. He gets the angle and gets the shot onto Donut. Last attacker alive is Frenchie. He's got to rush in, but the smoke grenades are saying, no, you're going to have to slow down. It's going to dwindle down to the last 30 seconds. Frenchie, no diffuser in hand. It's all about being the 1-on-4 right now. He pushes down the hall, and Bandit is there to take the shot to his face.
I feel like we saw a lot of people lose due to slow peeking. Even Capito right there, just not jiggle peeking. It's kind of odd that we've seen the jiggle peek lose popularity because it is something that is effective.
Yeah, the shoulder peeking left and right, that gets you information, but then again, it gives your position away. And if the person is quick enough, you won't get that second peek off in time.
And that was a 3-speed versus a 3-speed, so that's a situation where speed is going to be important.
Yep.
But we saw the slow peek earlier on Rook really not work out. But, you know, it was a tough situation where they were down a lot of operators, so we are seeing the flip side come out here. They are able to get a lot of advantage there. Looks like we have
picked up the third round here, so now it's 2-1. Good, strong defense. Not a single kill by Eanix's side. Unfortunately for Mint, he did disconnect, but was able to get back in time. Therefore, again, no rehost. I feel this is like a reoccurring theme. I'm really loving it here. We've got 30 seconds on the prep phase. And here we go with Frenchie reinforcing the back wall.
Yeah. You got to get that reinforced. You don't want to just let someone walk in, especially last time when they were the ones to walk in, or Pojo Man just walked in there. They're going to be a little more wary of that this time. Hopefully we'll see a Valk cam up in there just to be like, oh, you know, there's someone coming down the hallway. You might want to walk in there. But it's up to them to make sure that they guard that well, as it is something that obviously FlipSid are willing to use against them. They are going to go with that bandit trick sort of situation again, electrifying that wall. Looks like they're going to want to push that tunnel again. Pojo Man throwing his drone in here, seeing if he wants to bother with it. Still going to consider it, though. It does use up one of the thermite charges, though, which leaves them a little bit less options when it comes time to attacking the rest of the site.
You are right, and we are here in the action phase. Looks as though church will get opened up. Or, I'm sorry, the construction entrance will get opened up. And so here we are with Rook backing down into the B-bomb site.
Everyone getting into that position. Pojo Man's already pushing up quite a bit, though. Feeling kind of confident. not sure that they were ready for this as much as they should be, considering he did this last time.
So here we go. We see Pojo Man coming down the construction hall again, droning it out. Looks as though he's going to face it all by himself, droning it out. Now they know Blackbeard's here. His gun is very identifiable from the bullet sprays and the sounds that it makes. Easy peasy up here using the Buck skeleton key. And here we are in the kitchen hallway.
Taking a nice angle down into the kitchen there. That's one of the difficult parts about using that kitchen floor, is you want to be careful not to put yourself in a corner in terms of putting too many holes that you can't even cross into the room. In that case, if he wants to go back into the kitchen, he's going to have to run over one of his own holes.
Yep, and so Mint has now entered into the stock room, going to look for anyone behind the generator. We can see no one there, but he unfortunately does not know just yet. King George is just getting out of the spawn now as Capital and HNC has moved his drone over towards the garage hallway. Looking down on the defense side, we've got Donut over here in the arsenal room. He's about to be droned out potentially. Nope, Mint's drone is going to go behind the generator. Easy peasy lemon squeezy picks off the first kill onto Marathon for this round. 1:15 left to go, 5-4. Panda down here in church, waiting for the motorcycle drop hatch. And we are going to have Helby still inside the arsenal room. Looks as though there's going to be some nades going in, getting rid of some of the barbed wire. Buck at the bottom of those main stairs here. And here comes another nade. See if he can get more, but the ADS does stop it. And that's going to be a little embarrassing there for the nade, but nonetheless, it worked out just as Jaeger had planned it. So, 50 seconds remaining. It's going to have to be a push here. We have still all the attackers on site. Looks as though Thermite's pushing his way towards the back. They have now pinched from Garage Hall and the construction hallway. Blackbeard's in there. The back of Arsenal Room is totally clear. They can move in and start making a push here shortly.
It's looking good for them.
Pojo starts peeking in, and Helby is not the only one back there. There are two of the enemy team back there. Helby tries to get closer. Not quite sure he realizes Blackbeard's about to peek. He goes for the peek and he gets the shot, downs him, doesn't pick him off all the way though, and Frenchie's gonna be there, but the headshot from Pojo kills Frenchie, and it will be Helby getting killed very quickly as she stays down. Easy peasy with a double kill, and Pojo getting Helby for the final kill. So easy peasy, double headshot there playing Capital, or I'm sorry, playing Buck. Coming in that main hall, picks off Smoke for the final shot.
You know, Buck originally not getting played a lot, had a lot of issues with the aim. I feel like players have finally figured out his recoil enough to even confidently use the ACOG on the inside right there. It's something that was very difficult at first, but I think a lot of teams realized the utility of Buck was enough to justify some practice, and we're seeing it pay off both for the NA and the EU teams.
Yep.
But definitely glad that FlipSid was taking the suggestion that imaginarily sent to them to push the construction tunnel, because we're seeing a lot of success with Blackbeard come down that side there, just slaughtering the armory defense in there.
Yeah, and so we are going to see Bomb Site return back to the top floor on the bar and stock room areas.
Much harder to defend, but FlipSid know what they're doing for the most part on this particular defense, choosing to make sure everything's nice and tight in case that Blackbeard push comes. But it's one where if they get caught off guard at the right timing for the attackers, it can be very devastating.
Yep, and so here we have a little bit of barbed wire going down at the front entrance, making sure they can't make a push and split the bomb sites in two. They're going to have to come from one side or the other. Is Easy Peasy going to go for another peek? He does hit the door open.
Hoping for something.
Looking to see it. Might be the pick on Donut. He does see him, but Donut evades it just in time as he transfers around the corner.
Well, they already know it's bar, so you're not giving away anything by doing that. So I guess worth a try as long as you get your head taken off in the process.
So here we are. And let's take a look over at the attackers. It looked as though they were pushing towards Stripper. I see Donut over here by the balcony of that master
bedroom. This is an important component of it as well. Taking control of this top floor allows you to get control of Gym, which allows you to defend the plant once it's down on that pool. So it is a critical component, and we typically do see Ash attacking this area just out of sheer aggressiveness, which is no surprise. There's someone sitting on the stairs, which is good for both defending the downstairs and defending up here, provided you don't get droned out like Helby just droned him there. That's going to make it a little bit easier for Donut to make sure to catch him off guard if he does try and come up. Which he's thinking about. But it is Pojo Man.
Yeah, and so Pojo Man is going to throw the C4 on the ledge there.
He tried.
It looks as though Frenchie's going to get inside and try to get the shots off. He hears the C4 and he runs away.
Wrong number.
And that is Pojo Man escaping with his life, but down to about 20.
Well, Pulse is going to be able to tell them exactly where he's at. So they should be able to do something about it.
All right, and King George on the Val Cam inside of Stripper Hall sees the wall getting opened by Pool.
Definitely a key part as well. Getting that open. Now Blackbeard can do his thing. Not much reason for anyone else to really peek it until Blackbeard's cleared it quite a bit. but Jaeger wants to make sure that he can sneak around and get someone who takes control of any of this top floor.
See, what I would like to see is someone with C4 up here for the defense side. They can jump out that window, throw C4, open up the wall, and get across without being detected. But unfortunately, Mint does not have that capability. We are down here to the last minute 10 remaining, and we see Frenchie at the bottom of the main stairs here, right underneath the bar. Yes.
Sit there a little too long, given that he's been pulsed out. They're kind of letting him have free reign, which is probably not for the best, but the rest of the team's too busy with that stripper wall.
Yep, and Marathon picks off the kill onto the Jaeger that was lurking up top in Cash Room, and Pojo Man will answer that, killing off Helby. So that is going to make it a 4-4. 45 seconds left to go. Donut is in top of the pool table, and we also have, it looks to be potentially, it looks as though I want to say Thermite. Thermite or Sledge? Okay, Sledge is up top in the roof as well. Thermite's downstairs in the stripper hall, and it looks like the diffuser will get planted by Panda. Donut gets the kill into HNC, so it is now a 4-on-3 with diffuser planted, and Panda's going to rotate back to the stripper. Hold the position that Blackbeard would if he was still alive. Pojo trying to contest the shots onto Donut, and Donut will get him down. It's all up to Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy here at the bottom of the pool table. Looking to see if someone's going to peek down, and it doesn't look good for him, seeing as how there are nades flying left and right. It's going to hurt him a little bit, and we are going to see the shot coming up out of the drop hatch onto Marathon. And there's going to be the shots from behind. Donut picking off Easy Peasy as he comes out of the window by pool table.
That was a strong attack. There was a couple of points where it looked like they weren't sure what they were going to do yet, but I think, you know, Pulse just leaving them upstairs like that really didn't help their cause, especially when they didn't win the fights when they pushed up. And then taking control down there, I really thought once they lost Blackbeard, they weren't going to be able to use that to their advantage, but using the smoke and getting that plant down without having to spend all their time firefighting really paid off for them. And then it forced the defenders into an aggressive position that they just didn't seem as comfortable taking.
Yeah, you're right, but with that, Eanix takes their second win on the second round out of the 5 that have been played so far.
This is looking pretty good for teams that I would have expected to have a bit more of a skill gap. Definitely seeing some hard-fought play from Eanix here. And we're looking like we're going to see a very similar strategy attempting to come out from the flip side, thinking that they might go upstairs, might go downstairs, being able to bring the same operators to do so, being able to get utility out of Buck, works out for them. They're not going to bring a Thatcher or anything like that, not knowing if they're going to need to deal with banded walls, but nonetheless, they will be equipped to deal with both. And the defender's not bringing much variety either, wanting to go with that smoke and bandit.
Yeah, so last time when Eanix was down here 2 rounds ago, we saw FlipSid come in with a very different kind of tactic. Normally you push people motorcycle hall, but normally you push people down the main stairs. We saw a little bit of a different tactic last time.
Yeah, a lot of that construction push doing a lot of damage, as it didn't seem like they had a good counter to Blackbeard walking down that hall. They just didn't have a way to kill him out. There should have been a C4 or, you know, just a lot of barbed wire towards the end of that entrance would help them a lot in this case. And after losing 2 rounds like that, they've got to be thinking about that.
Yeah, so Marathon does reinforce. Looks like he placed 2 batteries down on that construction wall, saying, you know what,
there we go.
You're going to have to waste a Thatcher. You're going to have to waste a nade, waste some kind of utility, because I'm not going to let you get down there that easily anymore.
Does throw down the barbed wire at least. And then a nice little hidden camera, and that's what they needed to see, exactly where he's going to be so they can push him with that C4.
So Helby again throws 1 Valkim in the construction hall in case Blackbeard makes another appearance there, which it looks as though he might. Now, his drone didn't spot the Valkim, so he was able to successfully move in, gets rid of the battery charge, and here's going to be Pojo working his way down once again. Now, whether or not he's going to get detected early on, we'll have to see if that Valcam comes into play, but we do have plenty of time for more action to happen.
I mean, you see FlipSid here going, hey, this has worked twice, why should we change it? I don't think they're going to do anything different.
Yep.
The question is, are they?
So stock drop has been opened up, as well as I presume, actually bar drop probably didn't get opened up, seeing as how they had to open up the construction entrance.
Yeah, that is the serious downside to that, is you kind of wish you had 3 thermite charges on this particular attack.
Yeah, and so we will head on over to Panda, who's inside of the arsenal room, looking to see if someone's going to come down that generator hallway. No one yet. No one yet. We can see the outlines, but some flashbangs do make an appearance over there. That's going to draw their attention. And we see Frenchie cycling through the cams. Looks as though King George's drone is able to spot some enemies here. Yeah. So Easy Peasy picks off the first kill onto Donut. And that's going to be Smoke, who can help stop that push, but not anymore.
They are playing 2 in there this time, expecting Pojo Man again, but they're sitting in pretty much the same positions they saw last time. I mean, that angle that Panda has, his rook, is pretty nice, but, you know, Pojo Man knew he was there, just walked around the corner and tapped him in the face last time.
Yeah, and so here we still see Frenchie. Frenchie's still inside of the motorcycle hall, looking towards the generator hallway, and still not been spotted yet. Some bullets go through the wall, And unfortunately, it looks as though Helby will get spotted there through the drone. Marathon still on cams, calling it out. Does spot Blackbeard in the tunnel. So whether or not they knew he was there before, they do now.
Yep. They're both on cams. They're seeing each other. So that's going to help Rook here as he's rotated positions, thinking that Blackbeard's going to assume he's around that corner like he was earlier.
And here comes the push here shortly. We have Thermite pushing up into the generator hall. King George about to throw a nade, thinks better of it, and we're going to see some bullets going through the wall. Marathon's head just barely gets unseen. And King George is going to push on into the Arsenal room. Blackbeard on the other side, pushing on in as well.
That pinch.
And we also have Easy Peasy coming down the main hallway stairs. And it looks as though this just being swarmed on every single side. Frenchie's over here in Motorcycle Hall, waiting for Easy Peasy to make a push. King George gets a kill, but then easily gets traded off by Panda, picking him there. And Mint's going to try to rush in from behind the lockers. Pojo picks off the kill onto Panda. Diffuser will go down by Easy Peasy. And it's going to be all up to Helby, who's over here in the Motorcycle Hall. We've got Mint, again, placing that diffuser down. Pojo playing Blackbeard, and we see Thermite, who is going to be inside the middle generator hall. But although Buck is going to finish off the kill and pick him off.
That's what I like to see there. When the Blackbeard pushes up, he waits for the rest of the attack to come, and then when it does come, he's ready to make that pinch. I've seen a lot of the pro teams fail to make that timing. One push starts, they all die off, then the other push goes, and it's too late. I really liked that Ash smoke run through, where Ash smoked right in between where he wanted to go, and Mint just ran right through it, right to a spot hidden behind the shelves and planted. The reason I like that is because you're going to expect them to either be standing on the other side of the smoke, shooting out of it, or hiding in the smoke to plant. If you can get to the other side of a part of the room where they do not expect you to be, once that smoke clears, you're going to be like a magician. You're just going to appear on the other side of the room. They're not going to see you coming. With an operator that fast and that silent as Ash, it's going to pay off, and we see it pay off right there.
Yeah, and I believe Blackbeard had already made his way in, so they knew that most of B was already clear, and he was just working up, trying to get some help from Ash on the way.
It was a good play strat here, and that's why we see FlipSid up by 2 points to 4-2.
Yeah, so this is match point here if FlipSid can secure the defensive round, which, being in the basement, one of the strong defensive locations, and this is a very familiar map to FlipSid.
Yeah, we've seen so much basement play. Very little actual bar play so far, just due to the way these rounds have gone. So it is looking good for FlipSid here, provided they can hold this defense off. We haven't seen always the best strategies in terms of attack here from Eanix, but we have seen one good attack on their part. Helby doing a lot of damage with the Blackbeard in this motorcycle tunnel, or in the utility tunnel. But the question is, will that work again when they're going to be a little bit more prepared for it this time?
Yeah, and so looks as though Rook's going to station himself inside the generator hall there, that utility tunnel.
Yeah, last time we saw him get a good peek through that crack there.
And they're Mint's over here trying to make sure that, hey, we've pushed through here every single time. I don't want to have the same thing happen. I know how disastrous that can be. Yeah. So he's going to stay around there, and we already see Thermite nowhere near the construction hatch. He's just droning. He does help out Donut, who's on the main stairs already. There's still lots and lots of time, over 2 minutes remaining in the round, and Donut's already down the main stairs.
I feel like they just didn't bother clearing upstairs. They're like, you know what? No one ever comes up here. It's just 5-man on site. Let's just get down there.
So here we are, Donut and Capital both at the bottom of the main stairs, looking to see if someone's going to peek, and Helby gets the first shot onto Easy. Another instant one-shot kill onto Easy here with his head.
It looks like that Rook Blackbeard got revenge.
Yes, and so Helby droning for himself, but then moving down the generator hall. Mint on top of the boxes in the back there by Arsenal room. Panda throwing some nades into Church, just getting rid of those ADSs for the push that is going to happen here shortly. Now, I'm not seeing much happening down the generator hall. We did see Helby get the first kill, but I think now that he's laid pressure down, he doesn't need to do too much until the team is ready.
No, a lot of this comes down to misdirection. You want to force them to look a certain direction when you push the other direction. Sometimes alternating pushes like that could be useful.
And here comes a delayed entry into the construction tunnel. If Panda can pull this off secretly and silently, it could be disastrous for F3.
They're definitely not going to be expecting this late, especially not by Thermite to just make a push down there. Maybe you'll bring Capito with him.
Yep, and so that's going to be the second smoke grenade that Pojo Man has tossed out. Still 60 seconds. They've drawn out 2 of them, and that's going to be amazing.
That's a little bit of a late hole.
For Eanix. Yeah, so a late hole there. But possibly just trying to get some wall bangs going on. Not hitting anyone, though. Blackbeard has made his way up into the utility tunnel. He's now halfway through there. And we see Panda also making his way into the construction tunnel. Now, no one's here yet. He doesn't know. He's not been spotted. He's still here very silently. Mint's not even paying attention to it. He does spot Mint, though, potentially. Let's
Maybe
see
you
if that
can get
happens.
Blackbeard to shoot the door out for him.
And King George tries to fire down the main hall, and just barely squeezes by. His bullets come flying over his head. The door gets opened up, and I think it was the guys in Blue Hall that opened it up for Mint.
That's the way you do it.
So that Mint doesn't know that Panda's there. Now, can Panda make something out of that distraction as he gets here slowly and quietly? It will be Helby picking off the second kill onto King. He's just a headshot king today.
Yeah.
Helby, and then also Pojo will finish off Frenchie. Helby then finishing off Mint. That is 3K for the round. Donut picking off Pojo. It is all up to Matt. HNC.F3 here behind the barrels, and it will be Ash playing Donut playing Ash, picking him off.
That was really well played. I mean, the Panda move didn't necessarily pay off a ton, but having that killer Blackbeard push, Helby really knowing how to use that gun, it definitely paid off. I think that was the MVP of the round for sure, is Helby making that push and not getting killed doing it. So many people push that utility tunnel as Blackbeard. You'd think FlipSid would be a little more prepared to counter it, but it just seemed like he had the skill to pull it off against a team that should know better.
Yeah, but we do see Eanix coming on strong, kind of taking the same tactics that we just saw FlipSid utilize against them.
Yeah. It was smart doing that rotate. I don't think it was used as well. Maybe had they had a faster operator be able to come around, say Ash or Capito, they might have been able to push in the room faster, but it definitely was not a bad idea.
Yeah, and the fact that it was delayed caught them off guard, I feel. Even though it wasn't overly effective, it could have been, should he have been needed.
Absolutely. I like seeing that on-your-feet strategy. And let's see if Eanix have that on-your-feet strategy for this particular site, though. It's definitely a hard one to defend. And they're going to have to put in a lot of effort to make sure that this doesn't end the map right here if FlipSid are able to win it.
Yeah, and so what we're not seeing and what we haven't seen much of in the North America PC world has been a hold on Stripper. We've seen a lot of other platforms, a lot of other teams decide, hey, let's open up the wall between Pool and Stripper, hold inside Stripper. We aren't seeing that in the meta here, typically.
No, I think last time we would have seen it earlier, but then Blackbeard dying so early made it so they didn't get much of a chance to do it. And then instead they had to push in during the smoke.
Yep.
So I imagine they might try for that again, as that is a very, very effective strategy for a lot of reasons. Like, for example, it's hard to get flanked in here.
Yes, definitely, because it is just one itsy-bitsy corner of the map, only one way in, one way out if that wall doesn't get blown.
Thermite doesn't like the music, just like the jukebox. No surprise there.
So, Easy Peasy has managed to make his way on top of the western roof above Stripper, and he's going to be getting into the master bedroom. Whether that's from the east side, the west side, the south side, he will manage to make an appearance inside. And
we did see Ash pushing this previously, but it is a spot you really want to hold. As I mentioned before, if you're able to get the diffuser down on Pool, having a nice angle right from above, straight down onto the diffuser makes it extremely hard for them to do anything to defuse it without killing everyone alive.
Yeah, and so the attackers are all on the west side of the map. Helby's over here by himself inside of stock. Not much action's going on for him, but he will sit here until he's told otherwise.
I think that's a typical spot we see Valkyrie sit. That shotgun being very powerful by using those shelves to create a nice movement around to get close to them does pay off a lot of times. Plus, it's a spot not pushed a lot. Gives a chance for Valkyrie to use the cameras to spot out where they are for other people. Yeah,
and so Marathon sitting inside the lobby lounge area, right between the two bomb sites, still just waiting, seeing if he's going to hear anybody.
Yeah.
Potentially see someone coming from cash room. He will rotate upstairs. Donuts on the cam up here, calling it potentially clear for Frenchie. But we can see that outline, and that is going to be Donut, who will look to have been on cams, and Easy Peasy picks him off nice and easy.
Definitely not a safe place to hide out.
You are correct, and so King George is here in the middle of the hall underneath the cam, but that got destroyed. So that's Capital and Buck top floor, trying to open up as much as possible. Now, it looks as though that Buck skeleton, he didn't go through the carpet there, but it was able to manage to open up most of the wood floor.
Yeah. Definitely something you want to do here is get as much floor space as possible. There's a lot of good positions you can get people out of. Like that spot right there is a good place to have. There's a lot of people hiding that corner.
Yeah, and so we see Frenchie at the bottom of these stairs by the central stairs working, seeing if someone's going to come peeking. Now, one of his teammates is on the cam. We'll let him know when someone comes down, but fortunately for right now, no one is there. B-Panda gets dropped down, but picked back up very nice and cleanly by Bandit. So 30 seconds remaining. It's a 5-on-4, and the push is going to come from Stripper here. Helby sitting very close. Now Mint tries to make a push in, and the close-range shotgun to the face. Mint goes down for the count, and Helby is going to be pushing up the Stripper hallway very shortly. King George picks up the kill onto Frenchie. Why he turns his back to the pool table, I will have no idea, and Hot and Cold will take advantage of it. Same as Capital picking the shot up. Marathon goes in for King George, and it's a 3-on-2. Panda's going to have to make a push here because the diffuser is in the process of being planted. Blackbeard inside of Stripper hall, and Thermite pushes out, watches the side entranceway into the bar. Panda picking up the kill into Easy. It's now a 2-on-2. Can they make a shot here? Panda gets on top of the table. Just some ghost fires towards Blackbeard. Blackbeard then says, you know what? I don't need to peek it. Don't need to go for the shots. The diffuser has been planted. I'm going to wait till I start hearing some shots. Here goes some more ghost shots. Still nothing. And Marathon, where's he at? He's coming up Stripper. Can he make a quick turnaround onto Blackbeard? Panda's trying to cause the distraction, but Hot and Cold is there to pick up the kill. And there is Blackbeard picking up the kill onto Marathon. So, without any further ado, that will be FlipSid taking Clubhouse 5-3.
Very well played by Eanix, though. An impressive showing on a map that arguably is FlipSid's map. Obviously, FlipSid still won, but only by 2 points. And I think that's a good showing for a team that's a new team against a very well-established team at this point. So very strong. I think the only reason they did so poorly towards the end of that last one is if someone can come for that plant in there, you have to have a C4 or a smoke, or there's nothing you could do. You saw him trying to fire over that wall with that MP5. Nothing he could do against it.
Yeah, Panda made a little bit of a late push there as Rook towards the very end. We saw Thermite planting. Blackbeard could have been holding the angle. Might have just been holding back, holding a lazy angle on top of the central stairs.
Yeah.
Might have been able to crouch around, just barely peeking and getting Thermite.
You need something to throw.
Yeah, you need something to throw, and unfortunately he set his armor already down. The rest could have knocked him unconscious potentially. No. So with that will be FlipSid taking map 1. Our second map is going to be, I believe it was not Oregon. It was, what do we have here?
Consulate.
Consulate was
That's
the map.
right.
I knew it started with a C. I wanted to say Clubhouse, but we just saw it.
Yeah.
So with that, there we go. So we are going to turn it to Consulate here.
Should be interesting. We saw some Consulate play earlier today on the European side. A lot of interesting play from there. We have seen as well being played off and on now with Xbox. As I mentioned earlier, it's starting to come back a little bit. We're seeing a lot of good play on that top floor, especially the basement, the garage, something that had been played out a bit in Season 1 and 2.
Yep.
Seeing a bit of a comeback with that top floor being a meta that works. As I mentioned earlier, for the defenders, because of the fact that they can use the floor to their advantage, both from above and from below once the attackers get in.
Yeah, and so we are going to be here on Consulate, ready to get the show on the road with everyone here. We are ready. So let's head on into Consulate for the second map between FlipSid and Eanix Esports.
Already a good start to the matches tonight.
So Consulate, like we had talked about a little bit earlier today, for those of you that were here and we were talking about the map, we had said Season 1 meta was bottom floor, top floor.
Yeah, this
Season
is one
2,
of the bandit trick maps.
Yeah, this is one of those bandit tricks maps, but once Capital started making an appearance, or not Capital, once Blackbeard made an appearance, once we had some more meta saying, okay, let's go from piano, it started being you know what, let's change the meta and let's go to that middle floor. Let's go to the first floor.
Yeah, definitely something that we're seeing. We haven't seen anyone bring out the first floor yet today. It'll be interesting to see if they do that, but they are going to go up top first, as they know that is a particular spot that they're able to defend a lot better. A lot more options that they have than being boxed into that garage. They did bring a Thatcher just in case on the attack side, just in case they went for that basement garage so that they could easily get in the garage open. But Thatcher not going to be as useful on the top floor.
Definitely not going to be overly useful, but there's still going to be some ADSs, possibly some electrified barbed wire.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a wall they want to open up by, who knows, the main entrance wall here, by the lobby, the secretary's desk.
Unfortunately, they had to give up Ash to take that Thatcher, and that might cost them a little bit of aggression here. Although he is going to get a chance to pick a new operator next time, as he is no longer in the match.
Yes, and so Mint has DC'd.
And it is within the first 15 seconds. So
was within the first 15 seconds in the prep phase. So with that, we are going to be back onto our lovely faces while we wait for the rehost to happen. Now, not much has happened. We just got into the map, but we did see them pick top bomb site. So what kind of, we saw them set up a little bit. I guess I want to know, what can we see from a defensive point? Where are they going to be positioned? Are there going to be people in admin?
So we haven't seen as many admin pushes lately. We've seen a lot more people pushing from even the spiral stairs, or pushing from some of those windows, or that little patio porch thing. However, admin was still a good traditional push. I would expect at least one defender to hang out somewhere near there, maybe a pulse perhaps, to see if anyone's rappelling on the window prior to them entering, being a good way to count how many people might be pushing that admin side. However, we're almost always reliably going to see a Blackbeard on that B window, and they're going to have to expect that. You have someone sitting in that room. The question is, can they sit securely? We've seen so many ways to try and weasel someone out so Blackbeard can shoot them. Whether it's shooting from the skylight, whether it's hucking grenades in, whether it's trying to get an angle from a crossfire window through the wall. There's a lot of ways to do it, but it is a room you have to defend, or they can just waltz on into that desk and plant.
Yeah, definitely. So very could be a very difficult map to hold, but at the same time, a very difficult map to attack.
Yeah, and I'll be curious if they realized it was upstairs and Mint's going to make a little bit of a change up in his operator and be like, oh, maybe I don't need to bring Thatcher.
Yeah.
Would be kind of funny, though, if they decided to flip it around and be like, okay, now we go garage, because they're going to think we're not going to take advantage of both of them playing a little bit of mind games here. But at the same time, they may just be a little more focused on their aim at this point and not so much on the mind games.
Yeah, and so here we go. We are getting FlipSid and Eanix back in lobby here. But, so we talked about top bomb site.
Yeah.
Bottom bomb site.
Bottom bomb site. As you mentioned earlier, something Piano Room is super critical to. What happens is they're going to try and do that bandit trick, whether they're going to hang out on that door or they're going to put a bandit down on it or a mute charge. Yep. There's almost no reason they're not going to put something on that wall to slow them down, to make it a little more difficult, so they have to have Piano or they have to use a Thatcher grenade. So what's going to happen is then the attackers, usually with Ash or Capto, an aggressive operator, and maybe Buck, are going to take control of that Piano Room that's just above the bomb spot and start shooting open the floor. That's going to give them an opportunity to shoot the batteries, throw grenades, deny with fire, whatever they need to do, keep bandit off the wall, blow that garage, and then come around from any other side they want.
So one of the things that I used to play that Ash. I used to play the Buck that was inside the Piano, trying to open up the floor there. One of the things that I learned the hard way was opening up the floor too much.
Yeah.
So what is that balance? What is that limit? What are you trying to open up and see?
So what you want to do is you want to take advantage of 45-degree angles. You want to set up in situations where you're not standing too close to the hole, where you're giving yourself a long angle. As the attacker, you have the advantage on range. You want to use that as much as possible, so they can't just stand under and shotgun you, for example. You don't want them to see you till you're ready to shoot them in the face. So you want to be standing at a nice 40, and same with kill holes. You want to be at a 45-degree angle so that you get a chance to see them in an opportunity where they can't see you straight on. So in this case, you don't need to open up a lot for it, right? Because all you need to see is that gap right in front of the garage, see those batteries, do enough to now you don't even really have to see the batteries. Throw a grenade there, time that thermite charge, you got it open, that's all you need.
Perfect. All right, and with that, we are waiting on one member from FlipSid, one member from Eanix, still working their way into lobby. But I guess, so we talked about both bomb sites, the ones we're expecting to see.
Yeah.
What do you think the logic was behind, like, we talked a little bit about it, but not bringing a Thatcher, when do you do it, when do you don't?
Yeah. So the thing with Thatcher is it took a while for people to get used to his gun. The AR-33 was originally not a popular gun, but as people realized it was a much better gun indoors than the L-85 that was commonly used on Sledge, people started to realize, oh, okay, I can use him to gunfight a little bit better now. That was in addition to the compensator and flash hider changes that allowed you to customize the guns a little bit more.
Definitely.
But in this case, Thatcher still has a lot more utility as people are starting to figure out how to use him to take out the Valk cams, because Valkyrie wasn't an operator before. There was one less gadget worth taking out. Now that Mute's a thing as well, additional gadget for you to take out.
Yeah.
So Thatcher has slowly become a more viable operator that people can use to take out ADSs, assuming
he was,
yes, because
get him. During Season 1 he was originally just a must pick because the range was god
You just
tier.
throw it on the roof and get half the things in the building. Yeah, I mean, taking out cameras even can be a benefit, even if they're not the cameras that are the Valkyrie cameras. Taking out the stationary cameras certainly doesn't hurt. But yeah, the range nerf, as you mentioned, is something that made him not such a good pick for a while, and then slowly people have been like, okay, he's a situational pick. And then this is a situation where Bandit's a thing or Mute's a thing, you know, just like we saw in Oregon earlier with the EU, that if Mute's a thing as well, still something to consider. So.
All right, and so with that, I believe we still have King George waiting to get wire working. It sounded like his game might have crashed, and he's got to resend the wire files. So, if possible, we might be taking a quick break here in just a few moments to see if we can wait for him to get in. But we do see, talking about going back to Clubhouse, we talked about how the strategies were different. We saw that nice pinch from the construction tunnel, from the blue tunnel, both pinching it and clearing out the arsenal room. That's something we hadn't seen before. I mean, we hadn't seen that in Season 2. It seemed to be developing as, hey, instead of going motorcycle those main stairs every time, let's push from the back.
Yeah, I think everyone's realized that Blackbeard is a critical part of any of those pushes, right? Because he's either going to come from this tunnel or the tunnel across from it or the stairs. All these long hallways and long areas for Blackbeard to fight, that's very hard for the defenders to get him out of because they can't just shotgun him from the side. Becomes really important. So in doing so, they just keep adding variations on where's Blackbeard going to push from so we can pinch. So it is an evolving strategy, and I hope we'll see a little less reliance on Blackbeard in the future.
So I'm being told that we have highlights for the previous map. So let's go ahead and roll those open instead of heading to the commercial, which we know you guys unfortunately love to see. So here we see some of the highlights from before with the double C4 kill from HNC. Pojo Man trying to make an appearance.
Flank.
Picks off Helby and also does get Frenchie as he came right around the corner there.
Yeah, between Pojo and Helby, a lot of Blackbeard attacks.
Yeah, and so some great shotguns. There's that pro shotgun right to the face.
Yeah, that was a good range too. That was a situation where nerf or not, that was going to do some serious damage.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, when you go through the hall, you open up the door, you're expecting, hey, let me look at bar.
Yeah.
Not let me look at the floor right in front of me. But with that, we do have everyone in the lobby. We're all here, ready to get going. So let's start it up on Consulate. Again, 0-0. Mint disconnected before anything happened. So we are here still 0-0 on the map.
Sky's the limit.
Second map, sorry.
Yep.
We just saw Clubhouse. It's now on to Consulate for the first matchup here between FlipSid and Eanix Esports.
Now this was FlipSide's pick, oddly enough, as Eanix picked the map that we didn't expect them to. So I imagine FlipSide's got to have something for this map. They're not just going to pick it just for the heck of it. They are still going to bring that Thatcher, even though they might have known it was not downstairs. But, you know, good on them for being consistent.
Yep.
Let's see if they're going to be able to use that Thatcher. As we discussed earlier, good in-fighter, assuming he's able to get in there. Not a high-speed operator, though, so someone you need to use angles with.
Yeah, and there's always a conversation to be had with, do I go with the AR-36 or do I go with the LRA-85, the LR-85?
Yeah.
And with Thatcher, I think it depends because the LR-85 has more bullets, but I feel like it has more recoil as well. And so there's a trade-off there. And I've never been one to really delve into what's the best weapon for him. There's some other operators like Ash where I've always loved the R4.
Yeah.
But for Thatcher.
Well, coming from being originally a sledge player a lot, I was keen on the L85. But up until those compensator flash hider changes, a lot of operators' guns, the recoil wasn't as manageable. For example, Thermite's gun just wasn't as good till those changes.
Yeah.
So good on Ubisoft for putting some ways to tweak your guns to make guns that were formerly not as usable more usable without having to actually change the gun itself much.
Yeah, and so again, we will see the top bomb site being chosen by Eanix. Not a big shocker seeing as how they wanted that at the very start.
Yeah.
And we do get underway into the attack phase. And it looks as though the majority of them start outside by the front police line.
Yeah, we're going to see Pojo Man come over here real quick. That is going to be his spot to take. They're bringing Thermite as well. Thermite and Thatcher both not being as useful on this top floor. Not a lot to blow up. However, you never know. They might be used effectively. Like I said, their guns are a little bit better than they used to be, but still not the best guns to be using in serious gunfights.
Yeah, and so we see Pojo looking to see is there a Valcam that was thrown out. There's no windows that have been opened up, so he's pretty safe here.
Yeah,
he's got to be very careful. He does hit the window and back away in case a C4 comes his way. I can tell you right now, he's probably got that pinky on the shift button ready to drop should he hear the C4. And there is going to be a Valkyrie, I believe. Not Valkyrie. Is it Valkyrie? Yes, Valkyrie's over here in the corner office.
You got Panda hiding his rook
over
there.
here,
Yep.
right, waiting for the shot. Now,
There's
some
those
bullets
shots.
go in, and Panda will be forced to drop here if he peeks his head any further out.
That is why you have to have that drop open. If you don't, you really pinch yourself between Blackbeard and anyone on Skylight.
Definitely. So, we saw 3 of those Valcams. None appeared to be outside. If we look at Valkyrie now, she does have a 4th cam somewhere, but unidentified.
You really need that for that Blackbeard because the best thing you can do is take out that Blackbeard as soon as possible.
Yep.
Then the rest of their push gets a lot more confused.
So I like the angle Frenchie's got. He's right now in the meeting room, in that projector room, looking towards Connector. He did have an angle towards where he could wallbang the window and potentially get Blackbeard.
He's confident in it. He's going to stay.
He does. He will. So easy peasy is outside on the ledge, on the window here by Connector. Looking, do I see Donut? He doesn't see Donut. Donut's tucked away inside of the bathroom. With 1:15 left to go, the attackers still have yet to actually get inside, it appears.
I feel like they're all positioning, all going for angles, saying, can we get any easy kills to start with? Start picking apart this defense. That is one thing you do want to do as an attacker if you can get away with it, is try and pick off anyone you can for the defense. Numbers advantage is key when you're trying to make a fast push.
And there is going to be the push from Easy Peasy. He cooks the grenade, opens up the wall, and gets the shot onto Panda. And it looks as though one of the defenders ran outside, was detected, and decided, you know what, I better go back in.
Sometimes that's not a bad strategy, as you saw, distracted.
And there is going to be the wall bang from Easy Peasy onto Helby. That's going to be his 2nd kill here. So, I'm sorry, that wasn't the wall bang. That was Pojo here. But no, Thermite makes it into the corner office. He will get the diffuser planted over here right in the console. So now, Mint outside of Yellow Stairs. It appears this actually might be a successful round with only one of the attackers entering the map. Entering the building here.
That's how you hold it. Just these great positioning here and poor choices by the defenders in running out into positions that expose them to Blackbeard.
So we see Mint
3
looking.
times.
Marathon's about to peek at the wrong time. He goes for the push, and Mint is there, but can't get the shots off in time. He actually does, but it will be Easy Peasy picking up the final kill onto Frenchie. And again, the only attacker to enter the map, enter the building, was Thermite to get the plant down. And after that, he hopped out.
Flawless.
A flawless round. by not even entering the building.
Yeah, only long enough to put them on.
What just happened?
That was a textbook example of how you attack it on defenders who are not patient.
Yes.
We saw that's why they lost it right there, impatience. You saw them get impatient, cross way too many times into positions where the people hanging out of the windows could attack them. Then you saw Marathon. Yes, it was good to go push for that Blackbeard, but you needed those cameras out there for exactly that reason, so you knew he was sitting there just watching the door.
Yep.
We saw earlier from some other games on Consulate where people watching that door can be critical to guarding that and making sure Blackbeard stays safe.
Yeah, I think what really aided in the ability of FlipSid to get that attack off and do it very effectively was the fact that they saw what walls were unreinforced or like unbarricaded, unopened, and they said, you know what? Normally these walls are opened. Let me open them up, and it's probably going to be a line of sight to somebody.
Yeah.
So they did that. Like you saw, we had easy peasy as Sledge on that connector window. Opened up the floor or opened up the wall and actually rotated Bandit, or I'm sorry, Rook. Forced Rook out of his position, and I think Blackbeard picked up that kill.
Yeah, I like that connector window that he was hanging out on. When you have that and the Blackbeard window on B, it becomes a nice crossfire if you can get anyone out of position like you saw them do. I think it's easy fixes for them to say, we either reinforce those walls or we open them up and stay away from them.
And it looks as though Frenchie had a little bit of trouble loading in, but he is here playing Capital. That potato of a computer might not make the Canadian connection that he's looking for.
Poor guy.
Poor little guy.
Needs a bit more maple. But he is in. He is going to try his best to pull off this attack, as they are now going to have to fight the garage we mentioned earlier. Looks like FlipSid decided, you know what? We know how to kill the heck out of the upside. We just showed them how to do it. We probably better not play up there ourselves in case they took a note from our page.
Yep, and so here we go. With all of the drop patches on the top floor, or main floor, being reinforced, it appears. Smoke trying. I think he's going to open up some of the drop patches potentially for a lurk. Potentially, maybe he's going for a spawn kill here. It looks as though 2 seconds left. He's going to open this up, and he's going to look towards the police line. Now, we don't see any of the attackers spawning over there, thankfully, for their sake.
Yeah.
So there won't be an easy kill, except Easy Peasy decides he's going to prove me wrong.
Easy kill after all.
And he's going to get the ones over by the exit stairs in the northwest part of the map.
Some good coverage.
That was a thermite.
Peak. Oh,
that
is
their
going to...
thermite.
Well, rip Eanix. They're going to have to work double hard this time. That just means they're going to have to push from a different side. The yellow stairs you see Rook on here, they're going to have to try and push if they can. A Blackbeard can do a pretty good job. If he can get in there without being flanked, take a quick peek, shoot out those batteries, normally you can get the thermite in. But without that thermite, that's not even going to do them a whole lot of good.
Yeah, I feel as though their strategy is going to be crumbling unless they realize, hey, we should probably push from server, push from these circle stairs like Frenchie's doing. Pojo's in server, though, so we're going to have to see if he actually spots Frenchie coming down the stairs here.
He
will shoot the cam on the second attempt, and he's going to make his way into the server lounge. And Pojo is looking up with his device, not forward, and Frenchie's about to spot him and gets the kill onto Pojo.
Well, that's going to make things a little bit easier for the attackers, helping balance out that loss of thermite just a little bit.
Yeah, and so here we go. Frenchie is inside of the main archives corridor, tries to go for a wall bang through the murder hole. Doesn't see anyone, though. He will try to shoot an incendiary arrow, burn nothing but the backlight of the van that's inside the garage there.
Some good play here, though, pressuring them out. The rest of the attackers, though, not doing a whole lot of good right now, doing a lot of droning to figure stuff out. Not a lot of people acting on it, so hopefully they're going to provide some intel to Capito down there so we can do some more killing, as he's the one kind of leading the spear right now.
Yeah, and Donut actually spotted Hot and Cold in the bathroom, and the angle that Hot was holding, his sight, his ACOG sight, was covering it up, so he doesn't realize he got spotted, and I'm curious if they're actually going to make a push for him here.
That's why it's dangerous to hold an angle ADS'd in if you're not listening carefully for the drones. I mean, you can hear them clear as day if you're paying attention, but you never know, they might be busy talking on the TeamSpeak.
Oh, and there was Frenchie again, trying to get the kill onto Valkyrie, but misses the shots. Downs her to about 50 health, but also takes a lot of damage in the fight. Donut's there to pick up the shot onto Minto behind the wall inside a garage. And there is Easy Peasy trying to trade off Frenchie, who was down to about 30 health. Ash is going to continue those fires. Hot and Cold, though, will pick off Donut. I'm sorry, we'll pick off Helby, and King George throws the C4 and gets the nade, or gets the C4 onto Donut.
I like them using that bomb as a defensive structure there. Becomes very useful, assuming they can't shoot through those little holes, especially if you're moving around and not always being exposed through the holes.
So it is all up to the one health wonder over here, Marathon, coming down the kitchen hallway. Now he's opened up, he's looking for the shots, he tries to shoot, misses them, and it will be Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy with his well-known revolver shot to one-shoot
Easy
Ash
in that revolver.
right here. Here it is, just the, oh, it's a double shot. Easy Peasy, I am ashamed of you, dude. I am ashamed. You have always treated me well with one-shot revolvers, and there was a double shot. I saw that.
Yeah, well, you know what? If anyone's going to have a signature move, that's a nice one to have, right? Wild West style. Definitely making it count. It was a valiant effort by Marathon, though. The one health against all those guns from all those angles. Still tried to hold his own as much as he could. They didn't have the best lead. They're losing Thermite right off the bat. Teaching them a valuable lesson about Pro League is that peeking can still happen. You got to watch yourself.
Yes, and so Eanix has managed to take the top site once again. We're going to see if there's some different reinforcements. Now, seeing as how Panda was inside of the corner office right where we're looking now, and he was easily drawn out by Sledge, who opened up this wall with a nade, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided, hey, let's reinforce the wall closest to the window. Yeah. That's where we got picked off before. But although it looks as though Donut's actually going to just open up the bottom of the floor there.
I still wonder if FlipSid was expecting them to change sites, running with their loadout that makes more sense on the basement again. But you know what? They did quite well with it without needing to go anywhere near a basement.
Yep.
So obviously they figured out how to play it wherever they go, and that's really ideal, is if you could use your loadout regardless of where they go, not having to play the mind games of which spot are they going to pick. So the attack already getting set up here. Last time we saw them not even enter the building except for to place the diffuser, then leave. I gotta imagine
do it again.
I gotta imagine that can't work as easily. There's gotta be some Valcams out here, something to do something about that Blackbeard and not just expose yourself. I mean, I think that was the main thing they could change right now, is just not exposing yourself nearly as much. Find a way to get them to come inside to you, or it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, and so Hot and Cold has managed to make his way up to the top of the roof of the console. And here he will try to look for a Valcam. Does he spot it? I don't think he's going to see it in time. So Frenchie over here inside of the first floor teller's office. This is on the other side of Visa.
Yep.
Trying to look towards the circle stairs. Now, do we see any of the attackers in sight just yet? Not yet.
If I was Frenchie, I'd be trying to maybe go for a peek on Blackbeard, set yourself up for that. Make sure that there's not someone sitting like right where they are on the yellow stairs. Maybe find a piano room to jump out of, something like that. Because in this situation, getting Blackbeard out of position is going to be exactly what they need. Otherwise, this push becomes very strong.
Up, and it looks as though Donut will be downed and killed by Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. So unfortunately, Smoke will not make it to see the final seconds of this round, but for the remaining defenders, it is very likely still. Easy Peasy has about 5 health left. He's going to try to find a spot where he can fall off and jump, maybe down himself so that a teammate can pick him up, res him back to 50 health. And Pojo, sitting on that corner office window, does pick off Panda once again, who was sitting inside the corner office.
That's not good for the defense. They still have some of their good operators in play, though. They still have a chance to hold this, but they're going to need to pull more of the attackers inside, or there's not going to be much chance they can do anything about this attack.
Yeah, and so here we have Helby at the yellow stairs. Again, Mint is here just waiting for the peek. He goes for the peek, and Mint tucks a couple bullets, but doesn't get a shot off. Pojo picking off the second kill onto Marathon. Here it is, 5v2. And we have diffuser planted in time. Looks as though only one individual entered the site once again. Easy Peasy looking to see if someone's going to come through the connector office. And it's not going to be anyone. Pojo looks away at the perfect time as Frenchie starts crossing the way. Does pick off the kill onto King George, but Pojo is there to get the shot onto Helby. And now it's all up to the pistol of Frenchie, who's inside of the projector room meeting room right now. But we've got Sledge here on the door. Sledge just waiting to see if he's going to go for the peek. He goes for the peek, but he looks away at the wrong time, and it's going to be Hot and Cold playing Thermite, getting the final kill onto Frenchie, and that's going to be 3-0 at the moment for FlipSid on the map.
It went a little bit better for Eanix that time, but not quite good enough.
I saw Capitao take a couple steps in the building there.
Yeah, he did have to put on his inside shoes. However, it was still a bit of a crush. One thing I would have thought would have been a nice strategy is when Valk was trying to deal with the Thatcher out there, when he threw the Valk out, immediately Thatcher looks at it, right? And you know he's going to. If you're with a shotgun right there, throw the Valcam out just a little bit farther so he's got to look a little more the other direction. Run out and shoot him.
Yep.
You know he's going to look at it, do a little bit of magician misdirection. However, just the timing is critical there, and I don't think he had the gumption to pull it off.
I think I would take that trade of Valcam for a kill.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would do that.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. Just a little camera there. You get 4 of them. Might as well use them. But we are going to see them playing for the first time today inside this bomb spot. I'm not a fan of this bomb spot because of that front door, but if you can use that front door to your advantage, like I've seen a lot of defenders now hanging out above it, upstairs, shooting some holes in the floor, getting some nice angles to guard that door. However, anytime you play in just random casual or ranked, you see how easy it is to take advantage of peeking right under that front door, standing outside the front steps, taking out people near the bathroom, taking out people in this front lobby, things like that. But, you know, it depends on how the defenders play.
Yeah, and what I like seeing here is this spread out barbed wire. Just knowing the particular patterns that when an attacker comes into the bomb site from the front doors, they're going to go one way or the other, left or right. Most of the times they're going to go around the circle receptionist desk right here, and that barbed wire is going to slow them down, take away that angle. So I'm really fortunate and really glad to see that they put that much thought and effort into where they want their barbed wire to be
Not
placed.
just the spreading out in terms of the directions, but I think you make another point in terms of spreading out like a little bit of distance from each other, because the last thing you want is one nade to take out all your wire.
Correct. So we are here on the attack phase, and Hot and Cold is up top in the console front desk, going over to the yellow stairs, going to drop down and come around towards the piano room.
This is definitely a room you don't want to let them get into, not just because of the bombs there, but because it provides some good crossfire across to the lobby.
Yep, and so Donut wanted to go that way, but thinks better of it, and Marathon picks off Hot and Cold for going for a peek. You know, it might teach him a lesson or two about trying to peek Marathon.
I think these two teams are doing the most peeking I've seen in Pro League so far.
Definitely, and they are very ballsy, but at the same time, they are getting kills off. So it's not just a one-sided peek game happening.
No, I don't blame them. I think both teams are definitely gambling a bit and seeing it pay off occasionally.
All right, so Capital has made it into the admin office. And he's potentially hearing that reinforcement downstairs, but that's not going to mean much to him because he is up here. Pulse inside of the connector right next to corner office. Let's see if he's coming over. He will be in the meeting room. Does he spot Frenchie? If he looks left one more time, he just might. And he will. He will spot Frenchie right by the soda machines. It's going to be a wall bang right here. C4 coming right next to him, and that will kill him. Nice job by Pojo, man, utilizing the heartbeat sensor to its full strength and effectiveness. He spots one more at the circle stairs, tries to wall bang and doesn't get it, but he will drop all 2 stories down in the kitchen. Now he's going to try to come up from the Visa office, but first he's going to check to see, is there someone above me? He sees Marathon, knows Marathon's on the stairs. King George picks off the kill, though, onto Marathon. And unfortunately, that's not looking good for Eanix, having 3 members left alive. 60 seconds to go, 4-3 right now.
Luckily, they do have the diffuser still, so that is going to help if they can get it in there. However, if there's still C4 active, planting in either of these rooms without climbing on the furniture is a dangerous game.
Yep, and so Pulse has made his way up the circle stairs onto first floor. He's not spotting anyone just yet. I think he's going to make his way over to yellow in just a few moments here. Easy peasy, stuck inside of the bathroom, but you know what? That's typically where you'll find one of the last men, one of the 3 armors on the team to be. Mint, again, right next to Pulse. Pulse is trying to give as much information, and Mint will be the hunter and seeker. King George over here in the teller's office, right outside Visa. The remaining attackers are all on the top floor, except for Donut, who decides he's going to drop in piano. There's going to be Sledge lounging up against the window from where he lost his life. Mint picks up the kill onto Panda from the circle stairs. He tries to get the shot into Donut. He sees him. Donut fires back, and he's going to look down the hallway, but it will be Easy Peasy picking off the shot, and the second one to Easy Peasy right onto Helby. But he does get down in the process, but unfortunately for the Helby and the rest of his team, that is going to be the 4th win here for FlipSid.
It's really looking good. I can see why they picked this map.
I can definitely see it as well.
I mean, Eanix picking Clubhouse, maybe not the best choice.
FlipSid picking Consulate?
Yeah.
Maybe the best choice.
Yeah. I have a feeling, though, after this is not going to be the only time FlipSide's going to play Consulate.
Yep.
Just like the way they played Clubhouse a lot.
Well, we'll see. I mean, after putting on this show and everyone else watching it, they might say, let's not try to challenge them on it.
But the nice thing is we're seeing them use all 3 bomb spots. They have played downstairs, they've played upstairs, and they've played the middle. They're showing variety, which means it's going to be much harder for any team coming in this to precisely adapt to how they play.
Definitely. And seeing as how they might be doing one strat on a bomb site, moving to another bomb site, they're not showing all the strats on a single bomb site like you might potentially see another team do.
I've spoken to King George as well, and he said they generally have as many as 5 different ways to take and defend a site. Well-prepared team, and we see why they were number 2 previously.
Yes, and as you said, 5 ways to take a site. I don't know any other team that has put that much effort into maps to have that many strats for a majority of the maps. They don't have it for every map, but for a majority of the maps, they have 3 to 5 locations
and you
for
see
every bomb site.
That's why they stick to a lot of maps that they like as well, because they have so many strats for them. And that's why this team was picked up by such a big organization like FlipSid.
Yep, and so here we are underway in the attack phase, and Marathon's going to get a little bit of some electric barbed wire in case they decide to rappel inside of that south window.
Not as common in Pro League, but if you're bringing in mostly for the gun and you got wire around, might as well stick some batteries in them. You never know.
Yeah,
Could be the finishing blow if they're low health.
And so we see Frenchie up here in the meeting room. And he might open up some of the floor like we were talking about, or he might just place an ADS here and stay up here and drop when he needs. But for now,
we've seen a lot of people using that drop hatch angle like that with someone like Jaeger especially to be able to get some nice angles down. He opens up an angle right there above the door, then he can use that as well as the drop hatch to get some good angles down if they try and push that lobby.
Yeah, so stationed inside the connector, it looks as though he's just going to say, you know what, I'm not much of a gardener, let me just kill the plant over here. Pojo is over here by the admin office, top floor, looking to see if someone's going to be there. Now, we see no one there. He doesn't yet, but I'm sure he's got one of his teammates droning it out for him as he manages to rappel into the window here very shortly. Easy peasy inside of Visa, covering the entire back hallway. If someone makes a peek either from the circle stairs or from the yellow, he'll be ready for it.
Definitely wanting to make sure they cover their bases before they come in here. A lot of people hanging outside, droning, things like that. We've seen a lot of this from FlipSid on this map. A lot of them just figuring out how they want to approach and getting into good positions outside. Sometimes, as you said, not even needing to enter the building because they're spending so much time on their positioning and droning. I think we're going to see that as well here. Once the attack comes down, it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, and so King George droning it out for himself. Does spot Panda, though, in the hallway. Actually, no, it looks as though Panda might have rotated right there. There he is. He does spot him.
No.
Calls him out, says, hey, we've got a rook in there as well. We know how to take him out. Shots go in. Here comes a cooked nade. Does it make it in time? Looks as though it doesn't, and Panda is going to be lucky for now. Moving on over to Helby, who's in the top floor. Marathon picks off easy, though, and that's going to be Sledge not making an appearance.
Well, that's a good start for the defenders, though, putting a hole in their defense as they spend all that time on positioning.
Oh, and Blackbeard picks up the kill onto Helby. There's one more here in the bathroom yellow stairs. Frenchie trying to calm his way, work his way down. Panda picks up the kill onto Mint. And we've got Hot and Cold over here about to drop. He's looking in the meeting room downstairs towards Capital. He just saw his friend die. Panda's there in the bathroom, and there's also Smoke and Piano. Now Hot and Cold needs to either get the plant down or he's going to go back towards circle stairs, looking for the flank from behind. Pojo's going down those circle stairs, and he's very much hurt. But it is going to be 4 of the defenders still alive. 4 on 2, 25 seconds remaining. Can Hot and Cold get this defused down? It looks as though he's going to attempt it. And Pojo Man does get killed from behind Marathon. Nice shot flanking from there. And it will be Hot and Cold trying to get Donut. He does down him and kill him, but Panda is there to get the trade-off and get the win for Eanix. So they aren't going down without a fight just yet.
It was surprising to see that of all the bomb sites was the one they knew how to defend. I mean, Panda hanging out in the bathroom, getting droned out. The reason you don't usually want to sit in that bathroom is that if they have that front door, good luck getting out of there.
Yep.
It's a situation where the angle very much does not favor you escaping that bathroom unless you've got a hole on the other side. But he held it well, and even killed them as they tried to approach it. So, worked out in his favor, but not in Hot and Cold's here as he looks like he dropped.
All right, so we do see Hot and Cold dropping. It is 4-1. We are here on Consulate, the last map between these two teams for the night. So, almost over, although not done just yet.
No, 4-1 could be almost over, or it could be in for a long overtime if Eanix is able to come back hard.
Yeah, and so right now we had FlipSid take the first map, and we're having Eanix fight for 1 point this week.
Yeah.
If FlipSid can take it, they're going to take home 3 points this week, and I believe they haven't made up their first matchup yet. So I think they're still 0 on the board at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be a huge surprise. You know, the number 2 team against the number 8 team getting 3 points on the second Playday.
Yep.
However, that being said, Eanix have proven they're willing to work hard for their points, and I imagine they're going to pick up some points on either draws or maybe some 3 points against some of the other smaller teams. So definitely showing that they're going to play it strong. Not counting them out just yet.
Definitely.
But it is looking very much in favor of FlipSid here at 4-1.
I mean, I want to say maybe it was one of the other matches we were casting earlier on Monday or earlier today, but there was a scenario where it was 2-0 and the team that got 2 at the start lost 5-2.
Yeah, and we've seen that quite often.
We've seen the 5 wins come straight back one after another. But for Eanix to do 6, because it would go into overtime if they got 4-4, going to be extremely tough to do, especially against the number 2 team in North America.
You know, even the number 1 team, Orbit, used to pull that off. They would lose 1 or 2 of the first rounds, kind of figure things out, and then just win 5 straight in a row.
Yep.
It definitely not unheard of, although Eanix not Orbit, but they are definitely proving to be adaptable, picking that odd bomb spot and making it work like that. So, like I said, I'm not counting them out yet. They've shown some versatility, but FlipSid have shown some straight dominance as well.
Yeah, and so we're actually going to get onto a commercial break in just a few moments here. We want to make sure that we get everyone here in lobby. We're trying to get the lobby up and started here. Looks as though we're having just a little bit of difficulty trying to get the lobby re-hosted. But for Consulate, you said we saw all 3 bomb sites.
Yeah, surprising.
defense on any of them? Good, bad, ugly, great?
I mean, that last defense on that middle bomb spot, the nice thing was they played all 3 floors, especially the top floor. It's a situation where you're almost baiting them into controlling the top floor, and they defended it well.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we're going to stick around. We're going to be right back after a short couple-minute break. We'll be here to finish off the rest of Playday number 2 for North America PC. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. We're here to see the conclusion of Consulate, the final map between FlipSid and Eanix Esports. So we're here waiting on one last individual to get in the lobby. We've recreated it. Had a little bit of trouble creating that last lobby once we had to rehost. I believe it was Mint that had dropped or someone from Eanix. But nonetheless, very, very strong gameplay from the #2 team in North America.
Yeah, they obviously spent a lot of time on Consulate. Not a map that they're just winging it on. Eanix, on the other hand, not their pick. Maybe not one they had a lot of strategies on, except for that middle bomb spot. Although that may have been more just due to the way individual gunfights played out, more so than strategy. So it's hard to say what might be going on with Eanix right now. They proved to have a lot stronger attack and defense on Clubhouse than I expected.
Definitely.
But it was their pick. And they might not have the repertoire that FlipSid has.
Yeah, and seeing as how the difference between the styles of attack and defense on Clubhouse as opposed to what we see on Consulate. Now, regardless, they are two different maps, two different play styles, but I'm seeing FlipSid be a lot more patient, a lot more strategic.
Yeah.
But that's not to say Eanix isn't trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I just think their execution isn't going to be as specific, as good as we're going to see FlipSid executed here.
I think we're definitely seeing a few star players on each team. You're seeing Helby, Marathon, and Frenchie doing a lot of the work on the teams, especially Helby and Frenchie, especially on those Blackbeards and some of those Jaeger attacks. And then on the other side, on FlipSid, we're seeing a lot of Pojo Man, especially. Some occasionally King George, Mint, sometimes Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy, although he's gotten killed a few times getting greedy.
He has,
so,
but he's also gotten his fair share.
Exactly. So I feel like it's a little more balanced in terms of FlipSid, in terms of who's doing what, than Eanix, but Eanix is also a newer team in terms of both their roster and being in Pro League. So hopefully, even if they don't make it all the way to the top of this Pro League, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in Season 4 regardless, because they seem to have potential in showing that they can go from being this little go-for team to putting some serious effort against FlipSid, even on maps that are FlipSid's maps, although maybe not this one.
We saw them challenge and take over one of the maps against Ferocity, which Ferocity has a lot of good players, especially some players that were in the Pro League for Season 1. Took a little break. Some of them didn't make it into Season 2, but they're back here. So the fact that we've seen some great things come out of Eanix gives me hope that we're going to see come the end of the season, we're going to see scores where it might be 10. Everyone's got 10 points, some 9s, some 8s, but all very closely packed together.
Yeah, I was a little nervous in that they squeaked in relegations. You know, I don't want to say barely made it into Pro League, but it was almost a little iffy there. Ferocity, on the other hand, were kind of a given for a while to make it into the Pro League this time, given how strong they were pretty much every Go4, working their way towards relegations. So they showed that they totally had the effort to put in. Eanix, on the other hand, were mostly a team that had not been super strong and has definitely come up a long way. Some of the people that they picked up, like Frenchie, obviously worth picking up for sure. Some of the changes they made being key to this, as long as they keep practicing, working hard here, we may even see this match continued for more than one round here.
I'm hoping so. I mean, we saw Eanix come back against Ferocity for a few rounds. On Clubhouse, I think they won that one, didn't win the other one. It might have been here for
I believe it was a draw.
But I'm still not counting them out. So we are in lobby now. We have everyone ready to go here, picking sides. 4-1.
Yeah.
We see FlipSid having 4. They will be on the defense side to start, and they are going to choose the basement bomb site.
Now, part of the reason they won this basement bomb site so well last time was they took out Eanix's thermite.
Yes.
So as long as Panda doesn't stick his head towards the end of a gun anytime soon, I think there's a chance that there could be some back and forth here. Hopefully they'll be able to at least take one round, not end this here with a FlipSid win, and that's done for the day for them. So they just got to get at least one more round here, put some points back on, give themselves a chance to maybe get towards overtime.
And so as the prep phase begins, we see everyone starting here in Garage. Now, typically what you'll see, we do see Pulse and Smoke going up top. They're going to be reinforcing the bathroom hatch, the lobby hatch, going over to the Visa office, getting those hatches. Because we saw last time, I believe it was Pulse inside a server on this spot. Frenchie came around playing Capital and nailed Pulse, who was trying to look at the floor, wasn't paying attention to where he was walking, and ran right into Capital's bullets.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't actually see a lot of hatch play once they're all reinforced, as Thermite's too busy trying to get that garage door open. And unlike a lot of other spots, we'll often use both Thermite charges on the garage door to open up both sides. So just nothing left for these hatches. So I feel like hatch play has just not really done a whole lot in this particular bomb spot. But then again, they are bringing Sledge instead of a Buck, so they may want to open up a little bit, maybe open up that bathroom hatch instead of just focusing on the garage. But it is up to their strategy.
Trying to go for a peek, but there's no one that started outside by the police line. So For now, it's going to be Eanix being safe from any kind of peeks.
So much peeking going on here.
Yes, and so looks as though Panda took a nice save. I spoke too soon. Hot and cold. Pick up the shot onto Frenchie playing Capital.
My goodness, guys.
Spoke a little too soon there. So we do see, I believe it is Bandit on the back stairs. I'm sorry, not Bandit. Looks as though it's Valkyrie. King George TV on the back here of those spiral stairs.
You got to be careful, guys. Can't just run in there. But that is another bad start in this bomb spot for Eanix. Luckily, not their Thermite this time, but definitely a very strong operator in terms of attacking that garage.
So we're seeing a little bit of a setup here, very similar to what we saw in EU earlier today, with only one defender on bomb site and 4 of the defenders on top. Now Blackbeard picks up smoke from behind, not checking his left corner. That's Helby going to get the deagle shot on him once he's downed. So that's going to even it out 4-4. Still plenty of time left for either side to make a big impact here on the last round.
Interesting that you point out that they're 4-man up here, because it looks like the attackers are also playing the same thing. They're not spending all their time on the bottom. They're trying to clear out that floor.
Yeah, and we do see the call to get everyone back on site, but Pojo Man will not make it back in time, and Donut will pick up the shot onto him. The remaining 3 defenders on site here, easy peasy by the pipes. Mint behind Van. They're realizing that, hey, Thermite's not really going for the wall just yet. I don't need to waste my time here, and King George is going to be back here in the service stairway going into kitchen.
This is looking stronger for them as they all rotate back to site. They were just not doing so super well on that floor above.
And so Donut's trying to work his way down here on the yellow stairs. Now he's got to be a little bit quiet, though barbed wire does not look good for him at the bottom of those stairs. Now he gets rid of the gets rid of the electric charges, and Bandit was a little bit too slow on the peak, misses him. Now they know that Thermite's going to be opening that up. Mint staying behind the van here. They got to realize that, hey, there's someone here. Make that assumption. One's going to be in pipes. Now I don't quite know if they know Pojo or King George is here, trying to come up behind Sledge.
Oh, that could work out for him if he times it just right.
So let's take a look over here at Marathon. We do see Valkyrie, I believe. Where did Valkyrie go?
Nice.
Some bullets that Marathon shot through the doorway will down easy peasy. He doesn't know it yet because he doesn't get notifications, but Marathon did down one of them. There's now 2 defenders left alive. You've got King George picks up the kill onto Donut from the hallway. Marathon finishes off easy peasy. Now it's a 2-on-3. 20 seconds remaining. Thermite has Diffuser. He's going to have to make a push in. Some flashbangs going from Blackbeard. And now Marathon's trying to cover up from behind. He's going to make a push down the main hall, but he does turn away just as Valkyrie shoots down the hallway, and King George is now going to shoot up top. Marathon gets the final kill onto Mint, and here's King George on the exact opposite floor. Now he's going to look to see if he can get a shot out here. He's probably going to jump if he doesn't see anyone. He's going to throw a C4. Does he get anybody? No, he doesn't. Blackbeard is pretty hurt, but that wasn't due to the C4. He's inside by Van. Thermite's outside covering the yellow stairs, and Marathon's here. So let's watch this. We have Panda holding the stairwell. He sees Valkyrie, lays a couple bullets, but misses. Tries to go for the pistol. Retaliation doesn't happen. We've got King George down to 3 health. He's coming down the circle stairs now, where we've got Marathon waiting for it, and he will pick off the kill with the sniper rifle SMG-11.
Now that was how you execute an attack on basement when you know how they defend it. That 4-man upstairs worked great the previous time when we saw it earlier today. Not so much that time. That was a great attack. Let's clean up that top floor, force them all back to site.
Yep.
Then let's attack site and mop them up from there. Very well played by Eanix, showing that brief timeout they got, get a little bit of breather, rethink our strategy.
They had a little team huddle in the locker room
Yeah.
saying, you know what, they're going to choose bottom, let's figure out how to counter it, and let's do it successfully. And they were successful at it. So,
they are on
here.
defense, yeah.
4-2.
All right.
Eanix is still fighting for a chance at getting 1 point today.
And that's the thing, is you just don't want to get 5-1'd.
Yep.
Or 5-0'd, even worse, right? Bringing it back to 2 points or even 3 points as they did on the last map, still a lot better than getting just totally creamed. So hopefully they can bring it back, maybe bring a couple more points under their belt there. If they can bring it to 2 more points, we're going to see some overtime.
Definitely, and that's what I'm hoping for. Some of the best gameplay has always been happening in overtimes when you've got 2 evenly matched teams.
That's when they're really, really biting down. So we're going to see assuming some adaptation here, as they're going to be defending the exact bomb site they just attacked. They've got to thinking, okay, we don't do the same thing that they just fell prey to. We're going to keep a lot of men downstairs. We're not going to peek them. hopefully too early.
So a little bit of late reinforcements, but Panda does escape with his life. No shots coming through the windows of Piano as he turned his back to him.
I'm glad he's not trying to peek again.
But we see Frenchie, again, even later reinforcements,
Wow.
trying to get the east corridor, which is going to be above that generator closet inside of the server room.
And he still has one of his trophy devices as well he hasn't put up, so definitely late to the party, but Frenchie's been a key player, so I don't expect this to be too punishing for him.
And it looks as though he's going to stay down here. Now let's take a look over at the attackers. Pojo trying to get into the corner office here, top floor. He's taking a look. Drones are going in to help him spot. He's not going to see anyone yet, though. There is no one up there. It's going to be a 5-man on-site defense. They're not willing to take any chances with the gunpowder that the attackers are bringing to this matchup here.
I don't feel like they have as strong of attack on the basement as they did on the previous ones, except for if they get around behind. Their attack, garage front hasn't necessarily been as strong, but in this situation, it depends on how the defenders give them access. They have both sides of the door open, which is now, do they peek it? If they don't and they play it tight, they might be able to make this work.
Yeah, and so Frenchie was downstairs, but it looks as though he's going to try to rotate, goes all the way upstairs to the meeting office, and Blackbeard still outside. Is there going to be a lurker is what he's wondering. Is there going to be someone? He's not going to see anyone just yet, but if Frenchie doesn't pay attention...
Frenchie, no!
There is Frenchie, and there's the kill from Pojo, but Hot and Cold will pick up the kill onto Panda underneath, and King George picks up the 3rd kill onto Helby.
The defense collapses.
So here it is. King George picks up Donut. It's now all up to Marathon. Marathon, you're going to have to do a lot of running around if you want to get 5 kills here. And the diffuser has been planted. Your time has now been dwindling down to 35 seconds left to go. Marathon up here in Piano. 1C4 and a Dream. Full health, but he's very stale right now. He's not quite sure what to do. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see him run outside and decide it's time to go home. Run home.
I would get in one of those cars and drive off. At this point, save the op.
Sledge at the bottom of the stairs waiting for it, and it's going to be a flick of the wrist, and easy peasy gets down. Here's the 2nd shot onto Hot and Cold, and it's Marathon trying to go for the win. Here comes the 3rd kill. Can he get it? A couple ghost shots. He runs outside, and he's going to try to go for a quick peek outside. Not going to happen. He gets tortured by Thatcher, and that is Mint picking up the kill, and FlipSid taking all 3 points today against Eanix Esports.
I'm proud of Marathon for not giving that up. He really made it. I thought he was going to get killed by Sledge as he was looking a little too high, but, he put in the effort there.
He did.
A little late. No one else alive, but give him credit.
He picked up the kills. I'm pleased with his valiant effort.
That's right.
Didn't work out for him.